Hi, I'm here with my mom, Nada. We're gonna go through some pictures here about our past and about her parents and my grandparents, and we're just gonna show you the pictures and talk a little bit about what's going on in the pictures. The first photo.
Okay, on the left we have my godmother who baptized me and my godfather. He's actually on this side. And then we've also have my father, Mladen. And what we're doing here is we're having a lamb roast. It's summertime, and this is me here on the right side, and this is my little niece. And we're having a lamb roast, and they're actually getting ready to cut the lamb up after we've made it, and we're getting ready to have lunch. So this was summertime.
So was this after just a family thing to get together?
Yes, it was just a family get together.
Oh, okay. Here's the next photo that we're gonna be talking about. Alright, Mom, explain to everybody what's going on here. It looks pretty interesting.
This photo is where my godfather, or we call him my kum, who baptized me, he was actually taking care of the lamb that was on the spit, and that's how they cook the lamb. We put it on a spit, and then they just have to keep turning it until it gets completely baked all the way around. This is my brother-in-law.
Who's that fine gentleman right in the middle?
And that is my husband. That is Danilo's father.
Yes, it is.
And this was a grandmother that came as well.
Oh gosh, you're dropping the photo, Mom. So they're just, you guys, so wait, is this the before the last picture?
Yes, this was before.
This is before you guys were eating all the food?
Yes, this was actually cooking the lamb, and then the other picture was where we were cutting it up to get ready to eat.
Alright.
This is just one of our traditions.
On to the next photo. Here's the next photo. This one's actually pretty interesting, I just found out. I'll let my mom tell you about it here in a second. Alright, Mom, what's going on in this picture? Here.
All right. Well, these ladies were just sitting, relaxing and talking and visiting as we were going to have our lamb roast. Here on the right is my mother, Danilo's grandmother, Baba, what is what we called her. And then this was Kuma Ana. She was one of our Kumas as well. And this is Kuma Rosa. She was one of our Kumas, the one that baptized me. And this is Kuma Maria. All of these ladies were in a concentration camp together overseas during World War II. And they all remained friends after that and came to the United States, and now they were all spending time together.
So did they all come over did they all come over together, or did they
Yes, they all came over together after the war.
Over wait, was it over boat or?
Yes, on a boat. They all came.
Thought so.
And they all remained very close.
Gary. Good old Indiana.
Pretty much they started out originally, of course, coming to New York, and then they went to Chicago, and then everybody ended up in Gary.
Alright, interesting. This is the next photo that we're going to talk about. It is basically after church, usually Serbian families would just go over to somebody's house, and they would just make just a ton of food, as you can see on the table, and they just have a big feast and stuff. It was really good. We still kind of do it sometimes nowadays, but really a lot back then was when they did it. So we'll talk about it. My mom can talk about what's actually going on.
As you can see, Serbs like to eat, and so everybody came over to our house, and this is my dad and my mom. That was Danilo's Baba and Jedo. And then Kuma Maria was the one lady that we saw in the other picture. And then Kumrad and Kumarosa, they lived just down the alley from us. So they were over quite a bit, almost every day. And then again, Kuma Ana.
So do you guys must have all lived right next to each other, in the same neighborhood?
Well, these
street?
two lived right down the alley. The rest of these people, they didn't live very far, but they weren't on the exact same street. And then this was Priyatel. He's actually an in-law.
Kind of hard to see, but.
And then myself, I believe I was right over here. So
swag. This
was just a dinner that we were all getting together to have. And we did these quite often. Like Danilo mentioned, we did get together a lot because the Serbs like to have a lot of people, a lot of food, a lot of people around, have some good times, and spend time with each other. Family was very important growing up.
Jedo really liked his white beaters, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
It's in every picture. Here's another picture. Everybody's by the pool. and I guess they're just chilling.
So this is my kuma and kuma again, and then this is my brother, Dragan, and that's Danilo's uncle, and then this is also my brother-in-law, who is Danilo's uncle. And they were just hanging out, relaxing on a summer day. And my brother Dragan, they lived next door to my parents, and as you can see a car in the background, he worked on cars, so that was there, and he was probably going to be working on a car later that day. And then at this point, they were going to do some sort of an inflatable, I guess, for a pool that he had. And
So who's taking all these pictures?
I don't know, it's different people. I could have been taking some of them, but there's other people too that were taking them.
Okay, interesting. Here's another picture. Actually, it's the last picture. As you can see, it's just more of my family. There's my grandma and grandpa again, Bubba and Jeddo, as I like to call him. He's still wearing that white beater. He must really like that. And my mom can talk about some more.
Okay, so this is another picture. I think they're in the garage this time, and sometimes we would make the lamb, if not outside, then we would make it in the garage. But this is my dad again, and my mom. My dad always had a hat on. He liked to wear his hats. And then Priyatel, and then my kumrada again. And then this is my niece Nina and my niece Tatiana. And they were just posing for a picture, again, as you can see. Probably getting ready for dinner again, or just, hanging out with each other, just waiting to, get ready to eat. So
this is my my Bubba. You can't really see in any of the pictures. My Teta D wasn't there, but if you would like to see my Teta D, it's really like the exact same person as my Bubba, and they like act the exact same and everything. Like, I know the one thing about my Teta D is that like you can like eat food or something like right before you like go to her house or something, but like she will not stop bothering you about whether you like ate or like whether you're full or not. Like even when me and my cousin go over there all the time, like she'll like just feed us, and then like 5 or 10 minutes later, like, you have enough food? You have enough food? We're like, yes, Teta D, we had enough food. She's like, oh, okay. And then like 30 minutes after that, she'll be like, go get some more food. And we're like, oh, okay, Teta D. And so I just thought I should add that since you didn't get to really see her. And my Uncle Joey, he's also hasn't been in any of these pictures really. But yeah, that's also one of my uncles. Did you talk about the hat, Mom?
yes, I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right, then that's the last picture. All right, Mom. Now I'm just gonna ask you some questions.
Okay.
One. So, what was like one of your favorite memories back when you were growing up with your parents and like your relatives?
I would have to say probably Christmas time, because we celebrated January 7th, and we used to always get the whole family together. Everybody would come to our house, and the men would all be cooking, making hot toddies on the stove, while the women...
What are hot toddies?
Well, it was whiskey and all kinds of stuff that the men would want to drink when it was cold out.
The good stuff.
And the women would be cooking up a storm, and Bubba would be baking a lot. But on Christmas Eve, we would all go to church, and then we'd come back to Bubba's house. And in the downstairs in the basement, they didn't have carpeting; it was just tile. So what they would do is they would get straw, and they would spread it all around the floor. And then they would throw nuts, walnuts, and all kinds of different nuts in the hay or in the straw. And then when they would come down, we would actually do like a little traditional ritual where the parents would stand and they'd watch the kids, and they would actually start making a noise where you would have to be like little chicks jumping into the straw trying to get the nuts. But eventually, as time went on, they started throwing coins into the straws, so that made it a little bit more interesting.
Making it rain.
And so we had a lot more fun because we'd have to jump in and try to get the coins. And it was what it was representing, though, was I guess Jesus in the manger and where he was born, in the barn in the straw, and that was what that represented on Badnja Veche, is what it was called for Christmas Eve. And it was the eve of the badnjak, which is a tree that we would light on fire, and that would be the warmth. It would represent the warmth that Jesus would have to keep him warm when he was born. So that's what we traditionally do at our church. We light the tree on fire, and it's a badniak. And you take a piece of that badniak home with you for the rest of the year, and you keep it. It's supposed to bring good luck to the family. But my family would also put the straw on the floor, and we would do that traditional tradition as far as, that goes, as far as doing that every single year on Christmas Eve. But the fun part about it was that we'd all get together, and we would all be together for that.
All right. Next question. What was like one of your favorite things about your parents? It could be like your mom or your dad. Like,
I liked that my mom could always make us feel better. No matter what was going on, if somebody was sad or mad or if somebody wasn't getting along, she was always the mediator, and she always would do something nice to make everybody feel good.
all right. How many houses did you live at back when you were growing up with them?
I just lived in one house.
Just one?
Yes.
Back in, it was in Gary, right?
Yes.
Did you enjoy that? Next to that was next to Judy, right? Her best
My
best friend.
yes.
Yeah, her
She
best friend
lived
Judy.
down the street from me.
All right. Last question. What do you miss most about your parents?
I miss my mom's smile and how she would make people feel. And I miss my dad's strength, because I always felt like he was the strong one in the family. He always made us be aware that we should be humble and that we should not, not brag about ourselves or not make ourselves look, better than what we are. He always said, prove yourself to people. You don't need to tell people how good you are, but you can prove it in your actions. And I liked that about my dad, and I thought that he was a very intelligent man for everything that he had been through in the war and everything. He was a very smart man.
All right. Well, that's the end of our interview for today. I'll see you next week on... No, I'm just kidding. We're not coming back next week. This is a one-time thing. Straight for you, DB, Dave Buck. Yeah, anyway, that's about it. Thanks.